No. I mean, I haven't like flown them.
Got it.
They fly
Not
to
at the front of the
no,
plane.
yeah, I haven't piloted them to my hotel room. But I mean, like, they have flown to me.
Yes.
But I haven't been like, let me
get you
just
a
get
flight.
you a flight. Yeah, I'm not
daddy energy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
What gives you the ick?
To be honest, one of the things that would give me the ick is I don't really want to be like with a guy. Like, I don't want to be like on my daddy shit.
Have a little bit of like that, like masculine energy, kind of take control.
Take control.
Especially because you're in control all fucking day with your career.
And that's a big psychological thing. If do you feel like that too?
I was going to say, like, I want for sure respect, but if I'm like, I am literally running the ship here.
No, same. Like, if I'm making decisions all day and I have to be like on my fucking like whatever
daddy shit.
Unironic daddy boss girl shit, you better come correct when it's time and let me just not think about anything. Like, I want you to like I want to let go and surrender.
What is your philosophy around ghosting? Are we ghosting people? Are we not?
No, I don't like that. I mean, I actually had a conversation with my friends the other day because I went on a date with this guy.
Okay.
One date.
How did it go?
Not great.
Okay.
I didn't like it. Okay. And I went on a date with this guy and I asked he was like texting me and I asked my friends, I was like, hey guys, if I don't answer, is this ghosting?
Do you go out in public with this person?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. And so.
But they're not like.
Right.
He wasn't famous.
Right. Why did it not go well?
It was just so boring.
Like there was no spark.
No, I was thinking about
every other ex.
Yeah, like I was
that
just not
happen. That's the fucking worst when you're like,
or just the number one on the roster.
Oh, you're like he's looking real good right
like
now.
You're like I'm just thinking about number one, and you're like
get out. Just leave.
Yeah.
But you went through the whole fucking date.
I honestly, this is actually crazy. So I was hiding my hair.
Were you wearing like a beanie?
I was wearing a black wig and I was just like, my head really hurts.
Camila, you said that you had like a headache. Yeah. Did he know you were wearing a wig?
I told him. Yeah.
You're like, babe, the wig's really pulling. I gotta go.
I was like, I gotta go.
What did he say?
He was like, yeah, of course, let's go.
You're like, no, but like alone.
Yeah, I feel bad. I really hope he doesn't see this.
He won't. There's
I don't
no
think
way.
he'll see this.
But the thing is this. Sometimes in life, you gotta just feel the vibes.
And you know what? Let me rephrase this. Just in case.
Yeah, just in case. Just in case.
It wasn't that it was boring. I just was like, my heart
wasn't in it. I think
my heart was with someone else.
Listen, I think that's fine to say. And I think we, especially as women, need to get more comfortable because how many fucking times are men like, nah, she ain't hot enough, or like, nah, she's not that. You just didn't vibe with it.
It wasn't it.
That doesn't mean he's not an amazing person.
It wasn't a fit. But I am sensitive about ghosting because I feel like you have to be kind to people. But however, I didn't text him back because I was like, I don't know. Honestly, if somebody were to say right now, hey, and my friend actually, they gave me good advice. They were like, don't text him back. If he keeps texting you, then say, hey, honestly, it really wasn't a fit, but it was so nice to meet you. Wish you well. But he didn't keep texting. So I was like, I'll leave it. But if things had gone on like further, then I'm not a fan of the ghosting thing. I just feel like it's like, why hurt people? Just be nice. Don't lead them on.
I agree.
Let's just,
And I also, just to clarify for your own conscience as we're drinking our wine, that's not ghosting.
I don't think so either.
Right? He sent you one text, you didn't respond. And I kind of love a guy that's self-aware enough to be like,
just
got it, checked
100%.
Like, she's
and
not
also
into
it's like, it's one date.
Right. Like, yeah, like we didn't like have
3
months together.
100%. That's crazy. When people do that, if I was with somebody.
No.
And they ghosted me after we were intimate or after we whatever, I would be like, you're just like, that's a very unkind thing to do. And I wouldn't want to be with somebody like that anyway.
What is the biggest red flag that you've ever willingly ignored?
So many. I mean, right? Like
so many.
I don't know. You start. Give me an idea.
I would say like, I think when I look back at past relationships, something that comes up for me is like feeling insecure around him.
Oh,
like
big.
You should never feel like, oh my God, I don't want him to see me in the morning if I have like a breakout, or like do I look good enough for this date? Or like if I'm on the date, is he looking at other women? Like when you're with the right person, you would never think that way. And I think that is something I would ignore in this one relationship I had where I was constantly feeling like I wasn't good enough. And it's like, why? Like I am.
Yeah, I think that's a big red flag, is like how you feel. Like that's just such a big temperature check in relationships. Like I've been in relationships before where I'm like, if I am miserable for this long, there is just something off. And every time I've been like, it's me, it's me, it's me, it's me, oh my God, it's my, what is it, what am I, oh my God, blah blah blah. But it's like a lot of the times it's like it's just not right.
I agree.
It's not right. It's like if I feel so much better when I'm not with you, and then when I'm with you I feel miserable and overthinking and anxious every time, then we are just not right. And then I think you kind of keep going because you have this like hope or some ideal of what the relationship is. We can work on it. We can this, we can this, we can that. And it's like, sometimes it's like you have to temperature check. Like,
just like, it's not right.
It's not right.
Have you ever been cheated on?
I'm lucky to say I have not been cheated on.
That's amazing.
I know.
That's amazing.
Maybe, I really don't think this counts, but I was like 17 talking to a guy, but I don't think that counts.
Have you ever had someone go through your phone?
Oof.
That's a yes. How did you see them checking it?
I had deleted some texts.
Right.
And they were like, why did you delete this? Text message history.
Got it.
With another person. And I was like, my phone deletes things. No. Like, I was like young and.
You were being a little shady.
I was being a little shady.
And then they caught you. Mm-hmm. But that's where it's so fucked, because you're like, who's in the wrong? And then it's like the meme of Spider-Man where it's like,
I was definitely in the wrong. Okay. Sure.
I love that. My phone deletes things.
God, I'm terrible.
Bullshit. That's such a bad lie. It's amazing.
I was like, I've never been, to this day, I don't think I've ever been so scared in my life.
Right. You're like,
I was like,
Apple.
My phone just like, I deletes messages, like whole complete message. I don't know.
Crazy.
But I broke up with him literally 3 days after that.
That's good.
But you know, shit happens. Life happens.
It happens. Okay, we're going to play rapid fire. If you had to trade lives with any celebrity, who would it be?
I honestly would say no one.
Really?
I like my life.
Love.
What about you?
I don't know why this just came up for me. I don't know if it's the wine.
Yeah, go.
But I was going to say like, maybe like Meryl Streep.
Interesting.
I think I would.
I mean, it would be amazing to be like one of the best actresses in the fucking world.
I think it's more because I think if I had to pick a celebrity, I would want someone that's like not in the public eye and like chooses to not. She's never being paparazzi'd. She's never in it. So Meryl Streep. Okay, we're moving on.
No, that's a good one.
Okay. Have you ever had to lie to your friends about a guy you were seeing?
Yeah. Oh my God. All the time. Like, not all the time, but like, I love this TikTok that I see. It's like your friend is like, you like show them like a terrible text and it's like, and what did you respond to him? And you're like, like when my friends are always like, my friends are cold as fuck. Cold-hearted.
Those are good friends sometimes.
They're like,
though.
dude, how could you text him back? Don't text him. Don't do that emoji. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know you guys were mean.
Fuck.
But but it's good.
They're keeping you in line.
Oh my God. Yeah. Cause I'm like the opposite. I'm a dumbass.
I get it.
I'm an idiot.
I was just going with it. Yeah. What is your biggest insecurity?
My biggest insecurity, like internal, external, whatever.
Whatever.
This is probably the wine too. Mm-hmm. And I saw this Jodie Foster like interview. Mm-hmm. Like I was reading it yesterday. Congrats on your New York Times article, by the way.
Thank you. Oh my God, thank you.
I didn't read it because I didn't want to make myself nervous before the interview, but I love the New York Times, and I was like, oh my God,
there she is.
But I saw this one New York Times or New York or whatever, like Jodie Foster interview, and she was like, for somebody who values privacy so much, I really want to be understood, and that really resonated with me. I feel like my insecurity is like, I don't know, some like childhood thing of like being like, I don't care if people get me. I don't care if people, whatever. I'm just going to be myself. But at the same time, really wanting people to understand me and you not dislike me or whatever. So I don't really know. I think it's like a general insecurity of like probably like being seen and then not loved or whatever.
I think that is one of the most relatable feelings. Like, I think we all can try to put up a front of like, I don't care about like the mean comments or this or that.
I try to not care, but
we care.
At the same time, it's like, yeah, we're
humans.
I want love from people,
right.
you know?
And you want people to understand you because like, I can tell you have such a good heart that like, it's a difficult balance of like people seeing things online and then you're like, I can't run to defend myself every moment.
No,
but
not at all.
It is tough when you are being perceived in a way that you're like, that's not accurate. That's infuriating.
It is. There's a lot of surrender. Like you have to really let go.
If you're spicing it up with lingerie, what color are you wearing?
Ooh, I think black.
Mm-hmm. Morning sex or night sex?
I honestly love morning sex.
Mm-hmm.
I like both, but and my favorite is actually like, I love like an afternoon vibe.
Oh.
Because it feels so like European. It feels so like you're like not working, and it feels like so primal in a way. Like I don't have to work.
Right.
Let's just like eat fruit and like and coitus.
Love you. It's so good. If you're going home with someone, are you going back to his or is he coming to yours?
I prefer him coming back to mine for sure.
Biggest turn off in the bedroom?
I don't like silence and like just like no passion.
Yes.
I need like
going through the motions.
I hate going through the motions. I'm like, why are we even doing this?
Right. Why aren't we like making eye contact? Why aren't we making out? Like,
why are you saying things to me? Like, let's like, you know what I mean?
Yes, I get it.
Yeah, to me, I'm like, I would rather not have this.
Favorite sex position?
It depends on the vibe and it depends on the energy of whatever's happening in that moment. Like there's like in love sex and then there's like kind of freaky vibes.
Yes. I get it.
You know?
I get
so I think different strokes for different times.
I get it. Okay.
Literally.
I gotta ask what your opinion is on getting back with an ex.
I'm personally, I think it's known. I'm a fan. I support it. Supported it in the past.
Cheers.
Cheers. What about you?
I think it's so
I personally think it's helpful. It's helpful because I am not a person, you can't forbid things from me because I will want to do it more.
Yes.
If I tell myself, some of my friends are really good at that. They're like, well, I'm not going to text him because blah, 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 blah. I'm not like that. I'm like, if I want to text him, I'm going to text him.
I agree. I completely agree.
You
like,
know?
I've gotten back with exes. Even if I know it's not going to work, sometimes you need that closure.
You need to know that it's not going to work.
And it needs to be on your terms.
And then you need to be over it. And you need to be like, I did it. And I know. And I know.
Okay. So I have to just say it.
Yes, sure. Fuck it.
Okay. So it looked to the world like you and your ex, Shawn Mendes, kind of like dabbled with the idea of getting back together about a year ago.
Yeah.
What was going on?
You know, I think it's like what we were just talking about. Like,
you're just like,
Yeah. And, you know, it's crazy because I just like, I'm kind of like impulsive in that way, I would say. Like, I feel like if I feel it, I say it.
Yeah.
And I'm not really good at not doing that, like I said, because then the worst place for it to live in is my mind.
Totally.
And then I'm like, you know, Ryan Gosling in The Notebook building a house for this person. So I would rather say it and, you know, see what happens and then wake up the next day and find out that it's been heavily documented. I just like I opted for that route. But, you know, but it is what it is. It was a great route. It was a fun time. It was a fun moment. And, you know, and I will always care about him and love him. He's such a good person.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky, you know, because some people have exes that are awful and, you know, and he is not. He's a really kind, good person.
When you rekindle something with an ex, I've done it myself. I find, and I don't know if this is for you, I find the second breakup is always a little bit easier than the first initial. 100%. Because it's kind of already been over.
Yes.
Then you try to rekindle again.
Yes.
How did you guys make this huge decision to be like, okay, we're moving on?
I think it was just like, it wasn't even like a decision. I think you just kind of are like, yeah, this doesn't really, it's not a fit. It doesn't feel right. And I think luckily, you know, I was in a place in my life where it took me less time to realize that. Like, it took us both less time, like, to be like, this doesn't feel right. And we don't really need to like try so hard to like make it work. Like, it's all good. Like, this is not feeling good. Like, let's be friends. I love you. I love you. It's all good. Let's move on. You go do your thing. You go do mine. Become the person that, you know, that you're becoming. And I'll root for you. And that's it, you know?
Getting back with an ex for a moment, it is sometimes helpful because it makes the first sting less hurtful because you kind of relived it for a second. You're like, check, still not right. We can kind of now like fade off and be like, it wasn't what we wanted. And that's okay. You know?
Yeah. And I think the worst thing that you can live with is like a what if or a doubt.
What is your take on the idea of right person, wrong time?
Wow, that's a great question. I don't think that there is such thing. I feel like if it's the wrong time, it's not right. It doesn't matter if it's, I think right person, wrong time is still a way of keeping yourself tied to the person. And it's almost like right job, wrong time. It's the wrong job.
Yeah, so true.
You know?
So true.
Like, it's like,
when you say it like that,
you know?
No, you're right.
There's just no such thing. Like, I feel like, I feel like if it's the wrong time and that makes it a person that's, I love like just the simplicity of like, it sounds so clinical and non-romantic, but like, it's just not a fit.
Like when I met Matt, I was like, this isn't the right time. Like I really wasn't looking for a relationship and I really didn't want a relationship when I met Matt. I was like, fuck. But we made it work.
There's no such
he was
thing.
The right person.
Because there's no such, I feel like there's no such thing really. I mean, maybe there is such thing as, I mean, maybe wrong time could be classified as like long distance or you're going away or whatever.
But still.
But then in that case, it's just, it's not right.
Right. Like if it's right person, you will find a way to make it work.
Yes, you will.
Yeah.
100%.
What do you personally think is the most difficult aspect from past experience of like going through a breakup?
I think it's like like a long-term breakup.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's really just like the like, where does the love go vibe? You know, like you have so much like care and love for this person. And it really does feel, I've luckily up to this point in my life, I haven't experienced loss, like real loss, but it feels like loss, but that person is just still out there, and it takes your own restraint, reminding yourself why it's not the right thing to like keep you away from texting that person or whatever. And also it's like feels very out of your control, because sometimes it's like I wanted it to be this person so bad, like I wanted it to be, but it's not. And that feels really hard to let go, like to be like, I really wanted this to be it, but the fact that it's not, that I can't make this person who I wanted them to be,
it's tough.
It's really tough. Like it really feels like you can't always get what you want kind of thing.
I do kind of love how you said that though. It's so true of like, where does love go? When I'm thinking of like, what would my answer have been? I'm like kind of similar, where you're like, how did we love each other so much? And now it's not going to work. And we know the reasons it's not working. Yeah. But like, we loved each other so much. Like, how do we just like float away from each other and like, that's it?
Yeah, it's like where does the energy go?
Right.
I find like it was so funny after like there's been breakups where after I'm like, I tell my best friends, I'm like, can I just like hold your hand more and like be more like touchy with you? Because that's like a big love language for me, as you've probably seen in videos, is like touch, physical touch. And even like the touch starvation after, and you know what I mean? It is really hard.
Totally.
Like I'm like, can we just hold hands?
Right.
Like
that's when it gets tricky, when you go through a breakup of like, do I miss him or do I miss the things that came with having someone that I was in love with? And that's really hard to discern of like, I miss a best friend. I miss someone that's like gonna hold me and like hold my hand.
And it's usually that. I think for me in the past.
I agree.
You know, and that's where you really have to be like, I didn't get what I wanted.
True.
I really wanted this person to be this. I really wanted us to be this, but
it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
For all the girls listening, I'm curious if you have any advice. I've been through it. I think social media makes it so much fucking worse. How do you handle from past shit of like, when you know you and your ex are moving on at different paces? How the fuck?
Oh my God, it's the worst.
I'm like, I be out here fucking stalking bitches.
It's
I'm
torture,
like,
same.
it's just like, how do you handle it? I don't even know if you have advice. Like,
I really think it's like, I have been an absolute psycho. Absolute psycho.
I love you for admitting that. Because aren't we all?
And honestly, even worse when I was younger. When I was younger, I would be dating a guy and like stalking his ex.
Camila,
I'd be like, what is wrong with me?
Everyone raise your hand in this room.
I still, honestly, I definitely like.
We all
It's been
do
a while
it.
since I've been in like a long-term relationship, but God, I was like, he's like telling me he loves me, and meanwhile, I'm torturing myself over somebody like he's not even with anymore. It's like so crazy.
So hard.
The torture. I think like my advice would be, I've gotten better at this, is like, I'm a big like mindfulness, like kind of Buddhist practitioner person. Not practitioner person. That sounds so fucking weird. I know, like what? But I think like self-compassion is really important when it comes to that stuff. It's like, I could do something that's gonna really hurt me, or I can put the phone down.
So fucking hard.
It's really hard, but you almost have to do it out of kindness for yourself.
And I think like giving ourselves grace, like it is normal to want to be interested in that shit. Like, I think it's so annoying when people are like, oh my God, you like stalk your ex. It's like,
oh, fuck you.
Literally fuck you. It's like, if this person was in your bed, you used to have sex, you were intimate, you were in love. Like, of course there's moments where you're like eating a french fry one day and you're like, oh, what is he up to? It's like, it's natural. Just like you're wondering what fucking kids from middle school are up to and you go on Facebook to look it up.
Oh my God.
Like,
also, like, the people that don't admit that, I'm like, oh, please, like, you're not fun to talk to. Like, where is your, like, fucked up human side?
We're crazy.
Let us be
crazy. Breakup sex. Are you a proponent? Has it helped you in the past? Does it ruin things for you?
What does breakup sex mean?
Like, you're like, this is over.
Oh.
But.
Yeah.
And then you do it one more time.
Yeah, of course.
And, like, have you found it makes it more messy? Or is it more like, okay.
I feel like if you're wanting to have breakup sex, you're probably gonna hit each other up next week. Like, there's still something there, you know? And like I said, I'm sorry, I'm a proponent. Like, I don't believe in the forbidden fruit. If you want it, do it. Kind of like date them till you hate them vibe. I don't actually hate anybody. Yes. But I'm saying, do it until it's out of your system. And my friends really don't agree with this. They're like, you're an idiot and we hate you and don't ask me for advice anymore because I'm sick of you. But it's been helpful for me. And, you know, and I also think I think the hard part is like sometimes you do waste some time in that way. Like you like are still entertaining something and maybe there could be somebody out there that's better.
I think the point to close out the dating chapter is like, everybody that's listening, like, don't feel shame if you go back to an ex.
No.
But protect yourself in those moments of just knowing, like, there could be an end date and just be okay with that. And maybe there's not an end date. Maybe you guys are going to stay together forever. I think it's just like.
And know why. Know why.
Yeah.
You still keep going back. Is it the sex? Is it the chemistry? Is it.
The emotional connection?
Is it your self-esteem? Is it whatever? Because I think, like, one thing that I feel like I'm always trying to do, and I'm not trying to, whatever, the risk of sounding, I'm not trying to sound preachy, is like, I feel like always doing the inner work and inner questioning of like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And if you still want to do it, do it.
Totally.
But just know
why you're doing
it. Like what you're getting out of it.
Your new music is on the way, which everyone is freaking out about.
Did you hear it?
I did. So I was at the hairdresser and I'm like, where do I listen to this? And I'm holding it up to my ear. And I'm listening also, like me obviously interviewing you. I was like trying to listen to the lyrics.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is she trying to say?
By the way, which I love.
It's so good.
Thank you.
It's everything. Because it's so fucking raw and it's so fucking real. And I wanted to ask you just like, what has it meant to you in the writing process and everything?
Yeah. Well, I think this is like I love this quote by this poet, Rainer Maria Rilke, that's like, live your questions.
Okay. Oh.
Have you ever heard of that?
Wait, no, I love that.
I read this book. It was actually in COVID time, and it's called Letters to a Young Poet. And there's this poet that's asking him, like, he has so many questions, and I think he's like probably in his 20s. And he's like, the one advice I can give you is to live your questions. And I feel like this was my Live My Questions album, Live My Questions chapter. And it's like very really like sitting in the discomfort of things and realizing there's not going to be a neat in a box answer. It's like, I feel strong in these ways, weak in this ways, and there's no real clear answer here. But yeah, like the album process has been like such a journey. And, you know, it started off with me really having that intention of going back to how it started for me, which is just like, you know, sitting with myself and, you know, really like getting back to that first like passion of songwriting and, you know, like nerding out over references and artists and poetry and whatever, and really tapping into that. And then finding the collaborators that would really help me. I worked with like this amazing producer named Pablo El Guincho, and he really championed that for me. And whenever I would get kind of nervous or doubtful about like, you know, should we bring any other co-writers in the room or whatever, he'd be like, no, this sounds like you got this and we got this and, you know, we can do it. And he brought in Jasper Harris, and the three of us kind of like made this whole project. And it turned into like, I'm excited for you to hear the whole album because it really is like kind of almost turned into like this very like solidified songwriter voice for me that became kind of like a persona in a world.
Oh, wow.
Which is the first time I've really done that with an album where it's like has its own kind of color palette and mood and aesthetic and sonic vibe. And, you know, it's like very, it became kind of like its own world. And then obviously like, you know, the people that I'm like a huge fan of, like there was so many artists that kind of came in, and you know, it's just been like so fun and amazing.
I'm so excited for you because when I just read some of the lyrics, it feels like we're actually just like inside your brain, like reading your diary almost in a way. And I love how so much of it felt, you're right, of like this back and forth of like where your brain goes when you're in the middle of situations. And it felt so real. And like when I was reading it, I'm like, oh my God, I've experienced this in my life before too. It was very relatable, but the way that you were able to articulate it was just fabulous. And I think so many women specifically, I think are gonna be like, you're speaking from my experience. Yes, I've lived this. And it's really cool.
It's also really cool because like the album aesthetically and even like so many of the themes in terms of it, it's like, you know, there's a lot of like lip gloss and nails and whatever. It's like very hyper femme.
Yes.
Which is so fun because it's like I feel like I'm really tapping into the fun of like the feminine experience and sensuality and like even like the things that we do, like the you know, like all those like different
the hair.
No,
it's so good. And I'm so excited personally to hear the whole thing, but I'm excited.
I can't wait.
Because I think people, the beauty of conversations like this is like, I haven't really seen you like this online. We're like, I know. You really are like our girlfriends. Like, I feel like we're all friends with you now and I get you. And we like, you just feel like someone that is very like relatable.
Well, that's why I wanted to do this podcast too, because I was like, I feel like it's like very for the girls. And I feel like my album is like very like for the girls. And also like so much of it was like it's so much of me and who I am is inspired by my friends. And you know what I mean? And like that dynamic and like, you know, drinking wine and talking about like whatever the worst sex you've ever had. Like that's like, you know, that's life. That's life. That's the best part of life.
What message do you hope fans take away from this album when it comes out?
Ooh, that's a great question. I really think it's live your questions. And I would add a bonus to that is I think it's like really embracing the playfulness of it, like the playfulness of being alive, of being a girl. And I think that's honestly why so much of this album has themes like, I don't know, like sex or whatever, is because it's playful. And it's
playful and it's hot.
It's hot. And being hot is fun.
Yeah. Like some of the lyrics I was like, oh, Camila. Like, let's go.
Well, I think it's like just like this spirit of, I think, freedom and like just like ownership and really just like owning your fucking life. And I don't know, just like fucking being free and being you.
I'm so excited for you. The Daddy Gang will support you the minute this comes out. And
Daddy Gang.
I can't thank you enough for sitting down. I know that you don't do this often, and like you're a fucking pro. I could do this with you all day.
Well, me too. And I knew that it would happen like that because I really was like, I was listening to your stuff and I was like, oh, this is a girl that like I would be friends with, you know? But thank you for real for making me feel so comfortable. Of course. You're so kind. And
I love you.
And I love this wine and I love you too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're the best.